I'm a Pixel enthusiast, but I've recently upgraded from my Pixel 6 Pro to a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. I'm loving the hardware and a lot of the S23 Ultra features, but I do miss a number of exclusive Pixel features. In this video, I detail my experience and thoughts on the differences between a flagship Samsung phone and a Pixel phone, the features I love, the features I miss, and the general impressions of making the switch overall. I've been a Pixel phone owner for several years in a row because I've always wanted the latest and exclusive Pixel software features first. Plus, I've never been a fan of the user interfaces of other Android phones, even when I've really liked the hardware. So why did I jump ship and try my first Samsung phone in over 10 years? First and foremost, I didn't see anything particularly exciting about the Pixel 7 or the leaks of the upcoming Pixel 8 that piqued my interest. I felt like the Pixel 6 was a significant change from the Pixel 5, but the new generations of Pixel phones seem quite incremental in terms of design progression. Plus, photography and videography is a major part of how I use my smartphones, and the latest Samsung S23 Ultra features a 10x optical zoom and a 200 megapixel sensor that I was keen to try for myself. I also knew that the S23 Ultra would feature some of the latest hardware with a fast CPU and GPU performance. Lastly, the S23 Ultra had a reportedly reliable 5G radio, which has been a bit spotty on my Pixel 6 Pro. Altogether, I was excited for a change and to share my thoughts with any other Pixel users thinking of swapping to a flagship Samsung phone, and I may provide some insights for Samsung owners who are wondering about the Pixel experience. My first impression since upgrading from my Pixel 6 Pro is that the S23 Ultra is noticeably faster. Within the first few hours, I was surprised that I was already able to tell how much quicker I found navigating around the phone and using my everyday apps. Samsung's One UI 5.1 is a modification of the latest Android operating system that adopts a lot of the same functions, however there are some noticeable differences. First and foremost, personally, I don't find the user interface for One UI quite as nice to use as Android 13 on Pixel. Aesthetically, One UI is a little bit more pragmatic in its design. The design language for Material U throughout the Pixel phones has a more casual aesthetic. The best description I can give is that One UI is a more serious user interface, and I kinda miss the Pixel sense of fun. The differences are more predominantly felt in the settings menus from the shade settings through to the back-end settings. Also, the native Samsung apps for email, calendar, contact apps and others have a very pragmatic design too. Again, for me personally, I felt like they lack a sense of fun that contributes to the overall experience of using the S23. Everything feels much more serious and staid than the Google equivalent apps. However, all is not lost. If, like me, you want to inject some Pixel experience into your Samsung phone, there's a number of little changes you can make, and I cover these off in the next chapter of the video. The first thing I did was to download nearly all the official Google apps. It's a very straightforward process to download the Chrome, Calendar, Gmail, Maps, Google Meet, Messages and Contact apps. I also didn't want to have to change my payment app of choice in favour of Samsung Pay. I already have all my payment and reward cards on Google Wallet, plus Google Pay is widely integrated into online storefronts, making it easier to shop online. The one Google app I didn't want to update was the official Google Phone app, and that's because when you're not using a Pixel phone, you can't use one of the best Pixel exclusive features, call screening. I stuck with the Samsung Phone app as it uses the Samsung's AI assistant Bixby instead to approximate the same functionality. Another Pixel exclusive feature I'll miss is Hold for Me, which is one feature I used all the time. It's a way for your phone to manage being left on hold while calling any company that uses a phone answering system. When it detects a human interaction on the other end, it'll use Google Assistant to transfer the call back to you. It saved me countless times having to listen to hold music and leaving it on speaker so I can do something else during interminable waiting times. It's sad that I don't have the same option on the S23 Ultra. A Bixby equivalent would be most welcome. So I'm back to just leaving my phone on speaker, listening to irritating music and messages. I did install Google Photos as I'm already heavily invested with paid storage, and also my family all use the app to share pictures and videos. There was one little quirk that I had to fix. When deleting images in Google Photos, a little dialog popped up asking for confirmation that Google Photos was allowed to delete images from the device. To get rid of the annoying pop-up, all you have to do is go to Settings, then search for Manage Media. Now tap Manage Media and toggle on the permission for Google Photos. Once completed, it makes using Google Photos as your main media app much more friendly. Another feature of my old Pixel phone that I really liked is the theme options for making the supported apps match the wallpaper colours. Samsung has integrated the same functionality into One UI. You can change your compatible app icons by navigating to Settings, Wallpapers and Style, Colour Palette, and then toggle on the feature. You then have sample palettes to choose from based on your wallpaper. Then toggle on Apply Palette to App Icons. One big upgrade for me is using Gboard, Google's official keyboard, over Samsung's default keyboard. I find it way more accurate when tapping out messages. Google seems to use a more forgiving predictive text software, better guessing my intended words and even unique words and names that I've used in the past. I also use swipe typing a lot, and while the Samsung keyboard also has the feature, the Google equivalent feels a little bit more accurate over extended use. One unique feature Gboard has over the Samsung keyboard is Emoji Kitchen. This is a purely fun cosmetic option and it's not going to appeal to everyone. When using emojis while typing out a message on Gboard, you can combine any two into a single sticker and share it in a message. Again, you're not going to be messaging your boss using Emoji Kitchen, but it's a lot of fun with friends and family. Gboard is available in the Play Store, then once installed, go to Settings, General Management, Keyboard List and Default, and tap Default Keyboard and choose Gboard. Also, if voice typing is important to you so you can dictate messages, this is where you'll want to toggle the feature on. Another useful quick update is the use of Google's At a Glance widget. Unlike the default Samsung widget, as well as the weather report, the At a Glance widget also shows the next appointment in your calendar. It's a very handy way to stay on top of any important upcoming events quickly. You can install it by long pressing on a space in the home page, tapping Widgets, and scrolling to Google where it's the first option in the menu. One little aesthetic thing I wasn't able to change, which I'd love to find a way to update, is the look of the shade notifications. The Pixel UI presents updates and messages much more nicely in my opinion. I find One UI still reverts to the old iconography for certain apps, even when your current app is updated in the latest version. Also, I find long strings of text are often cut off, which makes it look a little less attractive. Luckily, one thing that One UI does include was the ability to add back the snooze shortcut to shade notifications, as I like the option to defer actions for certain updates. All you have to do is go to Settings, Notifications, Advanced Settings, and then toggle on the Show Snooze button. One UI has a few more time options available to choose from, which is handier than a Pixel UI equivalent. One thing I was worried about swapping from a Pixel phone was the loss of quick controls for my smart home. However, Samsung has integrated Google Home into the shade menu too. Just like a Google device, if you pull down on the shade, it will reveal another button called Device Control. All you have to do is make sure you've downloaded and logged into the Google Home app on your S23 Ultra, and then you can come here to configure the shortcut menu. The default setting shows Google Home and Samsung's equivalent SmartThings. If you're not already using SmartThings, you can simply remove it from the options by tapping on the three dots, tap Manage Apps, and then toggle off SmartThings. Then tap on Google Home and choose the home or homes you want to control. Then tap the circle at the top of each device icon to add them to your shortcut menu. In my own setup, I have 12 of my most used devices arranged as 12 icons to fill the screen without needing to scroll further. However, you can add more as desired. Every device manufacturer tends to have their own first-party peripherals, such as chargers, cables, and other compatible devices. One issue I've had with Pixel phones in the past is that a lot of third-party cables aren't compatible. I've invested a fair bit of money buying official Pixel charging bricks, cables and cheese stands for my phones in the past. As a result, I was a bit worried they wouldn't support my new S23 Ultra. However, I was pleasantly surprised to learn that they do work with the Samsung phone. There is one feature that the S23 has that my old Pixel 6 Pro doesn't, and that's super fast charging 2.0. While the Pixel 6 and Pixel 7 both support fast charging via the official cable and 30-watt power brick, Samsung supports even faster power transfer up to 45 watts. I looked at buying the official 45-watt charger from Samsung, but after watching a few other videos from other content creators, I was made aware of the Ugreen Nexode 45-watt charger that came in at half the price of the official Samsung brick. Charging time from empty for the 5000 mAh battery took only 70 minutes, which is very impressive. For comparison, my Pixel 6 Pro would take about 100 minutes. Better still, there was no increase in heat from the device during charging like my Pixel 6 Pro, which would get pretty toasty. While fast charging won't necessarily be that important to all phone owners, if you want the fastest performance, Supercharging 2.0 is a very convenient feature. Another concern I had with switching from Pixel was the compatibility with my Pixel Watch. I'd actually upgraded from a Galaxy Watch to the Pixel Watch quite recently. Ultimately, I wanted seamless connectivity and functionality between my watch and phone. The good news is that using the official Pixel Watch app on my S23 Ultra has been seamless too. All the functions work as normal with no issues. Sadly, I did run into a couple of issues with my Pixel Buds Pro, which I use every day for hours at a time. Music and video playback is fine, but unfortunately due to a bug, possibly related to the touch controls customization, phone calls are in mono through one earbud. It's enough to be annoying and will probably lead me to investing in some Samsung Galaxy Buds in the future, unless Google and Samsung can find a fix for the issue. Also, sadly at this time, spatial audio is not supported for Pixel Buds Pro when using them on non-Pixel phones. One of the most important areas for any smartphone for me is photography and videography. The camera performance for pictures has been very similar to my old Pixel 6 Pro. I'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between images taken on both phones in most settings. When you really examine the images of the S23 Ultra, I do prefer the more natural saturation and less aggressive post-processing compared to the Pixel 6 Pro. Also, I found that both phones have equally impressive low-light photography. Samsung's night mode does an equally good job of capturing enough light at night and in low light settings. In terms of the hardware that will affect the average owner, the 10x optical zoom in the S23 Ultra is an upgrade over the 4x optical zoom in the Pixel 6 Pro. I quite regularly find situations where optical zoom is preferable to digital zoom to maintain the fidelity of the image. Unfortunately, it has to be said that the 100x digital zoom in the S23 Ultra is not really usable for aesthetically pleasing shots. It really is just a way to capture information to illustrate something you've observed. The degradation in the image resolution is too great to be considered acceptable. Where I am really impressed with the S23 Ultra is the video capture performance, specifically how smooth even 4K footage looks. Both phones use hardware optical image stabilization. This year Samsung has said it's doubled the performance over the S22 Ultra, increasing the tolerance from 1.5 degrees of shake up to 3 degrees of shake. As a result, this has a real world benefit compared to other more marginal features. Videos of your kids, pets and holidays look better than ever when sharing them. You can be more confident you'll achieve better videography even during spontaneous moments. The quality improvements help you better capture memories and share more pleasing content with other people. The S23 range also includes the ability to take burst photos, just as if you were using a regular camera in continuous shooting mode. While the Pixel includes the top shot feature, it doesn't quite work the same way. With the S23 Burst Shot, you can control the length of time you want to take continuous shots to make sure you don't miss the moment you're trying to capture. Finally, the S23 Ultra supports full Pro camera controls just like a mirrorless or DSLR camera. All you have to do is download the free camera update from the Samsung store. With the Pro controls, you have complete control over the ISO, shutter speed and focal length. The extra functionality means you can override the regular camera settings and automatic settings to capture the exact image you want in any conditions. There are a number of missing minor features in One UI, which won't stop owners from being able to use any of the S23 phones, but if you're used to using them as a Pixel owner, you might miss them too. These include the fact that Google Assistant doesn't work from the search bar on the widget. You're also unable to assign the power button to work with Google Assistant rather than Bixby if you don't use it for power controls. One really handy feature I used to use all the time on my Pixel was the flip to shush. This enables you to simply turn your phone over to block notifications. One UI does have flip to decline a call though. And perhaps one feature that was super useful for annoying my friends with memes and images is the ability to use the tile function to quickly pick out images on Pixel. On my S23, I have to use the old method of holding your finger down on an image to download it first. While I've covered off features I'm missing as a Pixel enthusiast, there are a number of unique and exclusive features on the S23 Ultra that I really like. One such feature is Windows Link. While some apps do support the use of web equivalents, Windows Link is a way to access all the apps on your phone and even make calls using your Windows-based computer. Windows 11 and the latest Samsung phones already have Windows Link installed thanks to a close partnership between Microsoft and Samsung. In fact, looking at the compatibility list, it seems only Samsung phones offer complete support. The convenience might not be immediately obvious. For example, Google Messages already has a web app. So does WhatsApp, Signal and Telegram if you happen to use those messaging apps too. What's more, most other apps already have a web-based alternative as they were websites before they were apps. However, what Windows Link enables you to do is access and interact with all the apps on your phone via a desktop application. Once connected, you can simply use Windows Link on your desktop to access the apps in their own windows at the same proportions and layout as your phone. Better still, your main SMS client has its own dedicated interface within the Windows Link desktop application, making it more user-friendly. Since owning the S23 Ultra, I've spent more time using the Windows Link while working on my computer rather than picking up my phone. There are also a bunch of other exclusive One UI features I've really enjoyed using. They range from minor things like side draw for my most frequently used app, to having Face Unlock back again after it had been dropped since the Pixel 4, although it is available on the Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro. I've also enjoyed the more comprehensive functionality afforded by Multiview. While Pixel UI enables you to use two apps at the same time, I like the fact that in One UI you can drag, resize and position your apps in even more places and there's no performance hit. One very innovative feature that I haven't seen before is the ability to stack widgets on your home screen. This really has been a great feature for me. I like using widgets for certain apps for the extra convenience, but dislike cluttering multiple home screens with them to make them all fit. With the widget stack, I can have my Gmail, calendar and Keep notes all at full screen and flip between them all on a single screen. To create a widget stack, all you have to do is long press on an existing widget and then tap Create Stack. Now you can choose from the available widgets. Then you can simply swipe between the widgets to use them. I also really like the video lock screens too. Again, it's a cosmetic update over the Pixel alternative. You can have a lot of fun with it and it catches the eye of friends and family when they see it for the first time. You can make your own using a video you've created with the S23 Ultra or downloaded from the internet. Simply navigate to Settings, then Lock Screen and tap on the graphic for lock screen. Now tap Wallpapers and choose Recent or Videos depending on whether you're using a recent video or whether you've had one for a while. Choose the video you want to use and trim it down to the section and the length you want to use as long as it's not more than 15 seconds. One unique feature of the S23 Ultra that I don't think is quite as useful as it could have been is the S Pen. In theory, I like the idea of a stylus to enable certain features. I love the idea that the S Pen note-taking app can convert your handwriting into text too. In practice though, I found writing on the phone too cramped and it was easier to simply type your notes instead. However, as an extension of the idea, the ability to write notes even while your phone was locked was impressive. If you have the wherewithal to remember to use the S Pen, you can simply pop it out and write quick notes on the go and save them right from the lock screen. There are also other features which are promoted in the marketing that have some niche appeal too, but not much practical application. The idea of Pen Up, a community based around artists, is quite charming, but I wonder how many artists would be using their existing tablets and sharing their content elsewhere. AR Doodle is a fun tech demo, but I can't really see a practical use beyond a gimmick. Air Actions again seem like a fun idea, but in practice it actually adds a layer of complexity to use your phone that is easier to achieve simply by using your fingers. The same goes for most of the other S Pen features too, and you can read about them on the official website. Where S Pen adds value is selecting and sharing images and text. The more fine control makes selecting text from a website easier, for instance. While not terribly practical, I did find the GIF feature was useful amongst my sports-loving friends. I could make short GIFs of YouTube videos and share highlights, rather than sharing the whole video. Again, it's not a universally useful feature, but I found some utility in it. Overall, the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra has been a largely refreshing change as a regular Pixel owner. However, thanks to One UI being so closely related to stock Pixel, there hasn't been a learning curve to making the switch. The highlights have included the impressive video performance with better stabilisation. Also, the battery life is pretty good too compared to my old Pixel 6 Pro. Even despite the age of my Pixel phone and declining battery performance, there is a noticeable, if incremental, improvement using the S23 Ultra. The S23 definitely handles the heat dissipation better as well. Oftentimes, recharging my Pixel phone led to quite a dramatic increase in heat felt on the back of the phone, which is terrible for battery life. What I really like is the super fast charging 2.0. Again, this is a real-world example of how the S23 technology is an upgrade over my Pixel phone. As a heavy phone user with both my Pixel Watch and Pixel Buds connected via Bluetooth all day, having the ability to quickly recharge my phone before leaving the house, or even just topping it up for use around the house, is very convenient. The extra charging speed has a material benefit for me, and it may be the case for other users too. The missing features compared to my old Pixel phone haven't deterred me as much as I love the new S23 Ultra features and better performance in key areas. I'm now keen to explore using other official Samsung peripherals like the Galaxy Buds Pro and revisiting the next Galaxy Watch 2. Thanks for watching, and as always, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos on the connected home and personal technology.